Hello there. I wanted to do a quick knife review and have a little discussion with you about knives, the practicality of knives, and what I feel makes for a good knife with the different knife styles, different knife types, because all of that makes a big difference. So, anyway, let's jump into the review part. There's going to be 1.5 reviews in this video. The other knives are going to get their own review video after I've worked with them a little bit longer and stuff like that. So this is mainly going to do a review on this knife, show you the other knives I'm going to review, and along with talk about several different knives and why I have them, the uses. And the difference in this video, I think, with a lot of the other videos is I'm no knife expert, I'm no knife guru, I'm not a knife collector, I'm not a bushcrafter. If you want to say I'm a survivalist, okay, but it's not like it's something that I do as a hobby, okay? This is, I do this stuff for prepping, for being prepared, plain and simple. I not out to prove anything to anybody. I'm just a practical person with a little bit of knowledge behind me, a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of experience. And so I want to come at this from a little different angle instead of the survivalist or bushcraft angle. I invite you to hear a little bit more of an angle from, say, a machinist, fabricator, engineer position, because I think that's important, especially if you're talking about tools, because that's what these are. These are tools. If you're talking about tools that you need to last the long term, okay? So, and you need them to perform well, efficiently, and the whole 9 yards, right? So we need to kind of throw the whole tactical thing out the window, because there's a lot of people that tactical you to death, and tactical just is not practical. It's not practical. So anyway, this is a neck knife that I got to fill a gap. Now, I talk in prepping about filling gaps. We all aren't made of money, and I know that we certainly aren't made of money. And so sometimes in order to cover different areas in preparation, you just have to get something that will fill the gap for the meantime. And that is what I bought this for. This was just to fill the gap. I wanted a good quality neck knife, and I thought, well, I'm just going to get one of these $13, you heard that right, $12.99. For any knives that I have links for, I'll put them in the description. They will be affiliate links, so I will get a little kickback if you do order one of the knives. It is what it is. I appreciate the support. So anyway, here's the DuraTech neck knife, 6-inch EDC fixed blade neck knife with sheath. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to be real honest with you. For a $12.99 knife, I like it. I'm impressed. I really am impressed. Now, I really, truly, honestly only have one big complaint with this knife, and that's it. And I know there's a lot of the tactical knife people out there going, oh my God, no, you gotta have a $5,000 this. No, you don't. You gotta have a good knife, man. Something that is reasonable, okay? Now, is this ideal for riding out the end of days on planet Earth? Well, it might serve you well. If this is all you can get to fill that gap, then get it. Don't not fill the gap just because somebody else doesn't think it's a good choice. Forget them. Fill the gaps. $12.99. So let me tell you a little bit about this. I have used this, fair amount. Again, I didn't go out and try to survive, some mountainous terrain and all of that stuff. But I used it around the house. I cut everything from cardboard, and I don't, I mean cutting the flaps off of cardboard boxes. to cutting the bottom out of a plastic coffee can. I just used it for various things, some of them for purposes and other times just to test the knife. I liked it. I really did. It does, by the way, have really nice retention in the sheath that it comes with. I like the blade style. I really do like the blade style. We're going to get into that here in a bit. We're going to talk about blade styles, what I find important, and on which type of knives. And so, you know, it is nice. It's got cute little jimping that is effective. I mean, that's actually effective. I don't have much to complain about other than the handle size. The handle is a bit small, okay? That's my biggest complaint with it. If I try to put my hand on it, let me get rid of the box here. If I try to put my hand on it, my pinky just isn't going to get any real estate whatsoever on that handle. I mean, it's just not. Even choked up all the way, you're just not going to get any real estate with your pinky. Which, you know, that is what it is. What are you trying to do with this? That's probably the big thing. What are you trying to do with this? One thing that I want to dispel is this whole romantic thought of this TV show 10-minute knife fight. It's probably not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen, and if you do get stuck in that situation, it's probably not going to work out in your favor. So let's get rid of that. Let's be a little more practical than tactical, huh? So you're probably going to use a knife like this for one of three things, and self-defense is absolutely one of those things, but I wouldn't plan for it. I think that's foolishness. However, the other two things that you're going to use this for is taking care of, you know, small needed jobs that you need a cutting tool for obvious reasons, and I'm going to show a little bit of that here in a second. But the other reason you might need to use it is to be able to get out of something. Imagine, and I know this is a big hypothetical, but imagine you were in a car accident, okay? And you couldn't get your arms anywhere but up to your chest. If you could reach your neck knife and you can get it, well, then you can cut that seat belt. You might not be able to get over the glove compartment to where you've got your 50-in-1 glass breaker, train horn, and, you know, tornado siren. You might not be able to get to your glove compartment. So that is one reason why I think it's important to carry multiple blades, is for accessibility. Anyway, and that's one of the reasons why I see a use in a neck knife. Yes, you do have a possibility, if you get into a car accident, that neck knife is going to fly out of its sheath and forward and into the dash somewhere. There's a lot of possibilities that could happen. Your shirt could also keep the knife from dislodging out of its sheath, and you might be able to still use it to cut yourself free. So it is what it is. You take a chance when you get up in the morning, right? So anyway, let me talk a little bit about this knife. One of the reasons why I chose it before I bought it, because I was pretty certain it was what I wanted. I don't just buy things. Was because of that sweeping curve on that blade. That's important to me on a smaller knife. Really, really important, because that is what you use in order to really do your fine work. And so let me show you. And again, you know, I've done a fair amount of machining. I've had to make my own cutters for the lathe. I've done a lot more with a lathe than I have like a mill or anything like that. So I've done a lot of lathe work, and I have cut many of my own bits, cutting tools, whatever you want to call them, for said lathe. So I know a little bit about cutting and cutting tools, and you know what does what. I know a little bit about reliefs and all that good stuff. So again, this is coming from a little bit more of a machinist kind of engineerish kind of perspective here. So I'm just going to take a piece of wood here, and I'm going to show you. Now, you're usually going to be doing small work with stuff like this. But if you work that curve of that blade, you can do some insanely fine stuff. Now, here's the one thing about like knife review videos. When you're talking about somebody that's a knife person, they know how to work that knife, okay? I know how to work a knife fairly well, but they know how to work that knife. So they can make any knife pretty well sing, right? And it's not really hard to do. Look, I even cut that paper. This knife is sharp. Have I sharpened this knife? Yeah, I did. I did touch this up one time. I did touch this, but this thing came insanely sharp, and it kept a good edge. It kept a really good edge. But I do think I did throw a bit of an edge on it the other day. But yeah, you see it. I mean, and I'm just trying to, that is not how I do fine work. That is just, you know, doing minor cutting. If I wanted to get really fine, what I will do is I will put my other thumb up here, and I will use that thumb to push, and I will use my fingers to pull. See, if I wanted to get really fine with something, that's exactly how I would cut with it. So for anything like that you're going to need this knife for, it's really going to do fine. It's going to work wonders, okay? It is full tang, so it's not something that you would likely be using the baton with. But if you wanted to process some tinder or something like that, I do think that it would be up for the task. So, you know, it really seems to be for 13 bucks, come on. I like it. I like it. It's just the handle's a bit small. I've got, you know, I do have some minor hand issues. I believe I've got carpal tunnel, and I've probably got a couple other issues with my hands. I know I've got arthritis. All that good stuff. So the small handles don't do me very well anymore. Much better suited to a larger handle. And let's go ahead and let's talk about that, and let's show that. So before we do that, let me show you what you get with that. So this is actually an unopened box here, okay? This is not how the sheath and stuff comes with this paracord. That's my paracord. That's my way of fixing the paracord. So let's real quick take a peek and see how this comes. And there you have it. So comes like that. It comes with a hunk of paracord on it, and it comes with one of those little bead chain kind of necklaces. So not a huge fan of those. You could easily take this paracord and swap it out with that, and then you can find a million YouTube videos on how to make a slip knot paracord necklace is what that is. So anyway, let me get this clear out of the way, and we'll talk something a little bit more what I like to have. Now again, I'm not knocking this DuraTech, not whatsoever. For 13 bucks, you really can't go wrong with that. Really can't go wrong. And it had goodies on the inside of the box. So these here I got from, and let me reach around and grab it from the camera, bcblades.net, and I will link them in the description as well. I'm telling you, I am in love. So let me get the decal out of the way here and show you the neck knife. And these are both spalted hackberry handles. So spalted hackberry handles. I love it. Gosh, is it beautiful. So anyway, Kydex sheath, and you know, he hand makes all of this. It's absolutely gorgeous. Once again I did change up the necklace, the paracord, to how he had it. I changed it up to the slip knots. but he does provide plenty of paracord for your necklace. Anyway, this is just awesome. Okay, that is the neck knife. Look at the spine on that. That is one serious hunk of metal for a neck knife, and made very, very solid, very well. I mean, this is incredible. I certainly have enough real estate to fit my whole hand on the knife, as long as I choke up on the blade, which is fine for a knife like this. You're gonna want to choke up on the blade. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Notice again that sweep. Okay? That sweep is, I'm telling you, it's important. Now, when you do have a little bit of a bigger knife like this, and first of all, you know, you're gonna have a little less fine control when you have a larger knife. That's that's the way it works. That's why you have smaller knives, is for that fine control. But you'll see when you come up on it, like I showed earlier with the other knife, and you use it like that, that thing is just incredible. Lots of control. And I'm telling you, you're gonna want that curve in that blade. I know there's a lot of people that like the big knives and the flats on them, you know. But I'm telling you, I'm working on that flat now. You see how it's catching and grabbing, right? No control on the flats of a knife, because it's not an efficient cutting edge. Your efficient cutting edge is going to be on a curve, all right? And so you can see, you can just butter that right off of there on that curve. That's the important thing. Anyway, that's his neck knife. Gosh, I should have looked before, and I'm the one that put them up. That's the bad thing. I should have looked on them. I know the neck knives are 105 for the neck knife. So, and like I say, absolutely gorgeous work. You go to his website, bcblades.net, and the neck knife only comes in the polished finish, and there's 3 different woods available for the handle. That the spalted hackberry is not one of the woods available, just straight from the website. There's self-harvested walnut, I know. I believe bird's eye maple, and I can't remember the third one off the top of my head, but bcblades.net. And like I say, you go through, and the neck knife only comes in the polished finish, but then you'll get your choice of 3 different types of handle wood, and then you know, your choice of the color of the sheath and paracord. Now, I'm sure he's got various other woods, and I'm sure there's plenty of contact buttons on the site. So if you contacted him, you could probably work something out for a little bit more money and have a choice probably of any wood that he's got. But with the you know, with the price that he sells these at, you know, if he includes any type of wood for the handle, you know, it's going to wind up to where he's really not, you know, getting nothing for his efforts, because some of that handle wood is really expensive. So I wanted to explain that. That's why there are 2 knives that only have, on the side, only have 3 different types of handle wood, and that's because of the expense of the handle wood. And again, I'm sure if you contacted him, you could work something out, pay a little more or something, and be able to have a choice of any of the woods he's got available, which you can see on the other knives. So now that was the neck knife, and this here is what he calls the dinner skinner. Okay, and again, I want to point out that nice sweeping curve again, and this is kind of a larger version, but there is a difference in the tips and how they curve, and I wanted to show that. You see the difference? This one is more sweeping than that one. And again, if I'm to look at this from, say, an engineering type of perspective or a machinist type of perspective, I could see where this design here would actually make a much better knife for doing things like processing game, you know, when it came to, say, even something like a deer, okay, because this is going to reach a little bit further for you and be a little bit easier for you to, it's not something I've done tons of, or I've only been involved in the processing of one deer in my entire life. But I did do exactly that. They did have me take a knife similar to this and separate, you know, the skin, if you will, from the meat. So that would make for a better cutting surface in that instance. Now this would be great, I think, for even smaller game like squirrels or rabbits or something like that. I could be wrong. Again, I don't have experience in processing, you know, wild game, but you know, that's essentially, I think, what this knife was designed for, was, you know, for processing of some of your small and medium sized game. And if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think that was essentially the intent there. Incredible knives. I don't remember off the top of my head how much these are. Gosh, I want to say they're like $135 or something like that. And the dinner skinners you can get in 3 blade finishes. You can get the satin, which is what these are. You can get polished, or you can get the stone wash. And I believe the polished is like $155 if I'm not mistaken. And I think the satin and stone wash, I think, is $135. And that's at the time of this video. And I could be correct, it might be $125. So again, bcblades.net. I'll put the link down in the description. And again, absolutely, gosh, is that not, look at that. I mean, that's, I don't know. I think it's gorgeous. I like it. I'm very happy. Here, let me throw that on a white background there. Except now you got the lights glaring in it. There we go. That's a little better. Now let me flip them over. You have the lights glaring in the camera, so I don't know how well that wood grain was showing up. But I mean, that just is gorgeous. Is that not? And this been that wood's been stabilized, so it's going to last a very, very long time. And I mean, just the craftsmanship is incredible. Again, bcblades.net. Incredible, incredible work. I thank you, sir. Let me put these away. And let me show you my other stash and give you some thoughts. I even have my, funny enough, I even have my multi-tool here too. Because why? Well, because it's got a blade on it, right? It's got a knife. If I find it. There you go. This has actually got 3 blades on it. It's got a knife blade and it's got 2 different types of saw blades on it. But see, there's that long flat surface, and while that's great for scraping, it's not good for much of about anything else, to be honest. But that's got that blade, and we got another saw blade, which actually I used to cut those. So I had to do that covertly, because when I went and grabbed a piece of stick the other day so that I could work with the knives, I had to literally fight with a dog over the stick. And so I did a little bit of cutting, but the dog won and wound up with it and chewed it all up over the floor. So, hey, that's the way it works. So, remember I talked about filling the gap. And this was my first knife after Jen and I got together. Because I had no knives. I had no knives. Well, why not? Well, because I lost all my preps. Thank you, ex-wife. And so this was a $3 knife at Walmart, right? I hate liner locks with a passion. God, I cannot stand liner locks. And that's me. If you like them, fine. I do not. I do not like liner locks. $3 knife. This thing's not a good knife. It was on a plastic card, if you will. That's what they call them, by the sporting goods section. And I got it. Why? Not because it was a good knife. Not because it looked tactical. Because it was a knife. And that's all I could afford at the time. And it filled the gap. So that's the most important thing, the most important message I could tell you about anything related to prepping. Fill that gap. It's nice to be able to buy the expensive, cool stuff. Yeah, great. But don't be caught without a very important item because you were so focused on saving up for the name brand or for this or that you don't have one at all when you most need it. So that was it. $3, my first knife after me and her got together. I still got it. I still take care of it. These are very, very popular knives, and I love them. I've got nothing bad at all to say. I've got one in my Amazon wish list right now. I've got the HD, Companion HD, heavy duty. I want to check it out. So whenever I can, I'll get it. It's like $23, but I'll tell you what, these are incredible. They're inexpensive, and like these aren't full tang or anything, but man, they are very comfortable to hold in the hand. They work, they just work well. They do a good job. They're designed well. This is, I think this is the craft line here. I think this is a Companion with the high carbon steel blade. And, this is the carbon too, I guess. I thought I had one with the stainless. I do somewhere. I've got one with the stainless blade, not the high carbon steel. But anyway, incredible. And like I said, that's craft line, I think, and this is the Companion. Incredible knives, inexpensive, alternative. They work fine. I do recommend having multiple if you can. That's Mora. Let me find a place to start putting these. And there's all kinds of Mora. There's some cool bushcraft Moras and all that. I really wished I could afford a Garberg, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's more important that you fill the gap than that you get exactly 100% what you want the first time, right? Because for some of us, that may be a very long time. That may never happen. So by the way, I wanted to say, my current EDC with knives, I will be figuring out a ankle mount solution for this now. So that is actually going to go on an ankle. But my current EDC would be this. Yes, I do wear the neck knife. And yes, I do carry that. That's my current EDC, including the knife there. So, so I've shown you those. This is my Eep and Grow. Oops, sorry. This is my Eep and Grow that I can't remember the model number of. I believe I did a review on this. Yeah, I did a review on this. I love this knife. This is a really awesome knife. No complaints. D2 steel. The action is quite nice if you don't hit a table. Ball bearing, all the good jazz. I would like to put better ball bearings in it than what came in it. It's a cheap knife. It's like sub $30, okay? So, yeah. And again, I'll put the links to these in the description of the video. Now, before I got this, I had one that actually cost me more money. And I went from a knife that cost me more money to an Eep and Grow, right? By the way, you notice axis lock? Yeah, that's where it's at, in my opinion. This is what that replaced. A SOG Flash 2. So, which isn't the most impressive knife in the world or anything like that, but a lot of people think, really? You replaced a SOG Flash 2 with an Grow D50? Or, not D50, I can't remember the number. D2 is the steel. Yeah. For one, I like the steel better. This is the AUS 8. I like the D2 steel better, for one. I like the build of the Grow better because, look at that. You actually got steel liners in the Grow, and not so much here in the SOG. And another kind of a downfall, and I haven't had this happen really on me, and you can take it out and prevent it from ever happening, is some people have been known to have that safety come on while it was in their pocket, and then they have to take the safety off to deploy it, which if you ever had to do it in one of those tactical situations where 10 ninjas jump out of the trees, that could definitely cost your life. So you know, it is what it is, and some people really take it to extremes with again, if you're planning on being in a knife fight, you should plan on being a loser, okay? And you probably are. So anyway, I'm not gonna knock the SOG knife. It's a nice knife. It's a good knife. I don't really have any issues with it. I just wanted something. I'm not that spring assist. It's okay. It's okay. I wanted something, to be honest, I could open a little bit better, a little easier, and I can really open that easy and close it easy as well. That was the big thing. I wanted a knife that I could close easy, because, you know, a spring assisted knife, you got to sit there and fight the spring to get it shut. This, I can literally just by operating, knowing how to operate that axis lock just at the right time, I can close it just as easy as I can open it. I don't even have to. I can just use the axis lock and open it or shut it. If I get the timing right. It's hard to do on camera because of the angle. But yeah, I mean, I don't even have to touch the blade. So I like it. I really do. Now, I do wish I had a way to carry, and I need to invest in the foam and stuff to make Kydex sheaths, so I can make my own sheaths. I do want to make a Kydex sheath for this, because I do like to Ranger carry. That is what I prefer to Ranger carry. But for carrying this knife EDC, I'll give that up and just carry it normal carry on my belt. But this is what that knife replaced, and I've shown this before too. It's another Grow D2 steel, and I love this. I have absolutely zero complaints about this, other than that stupid tech lock belt deal. I cannot stand that stupid bulky thing. If anybody knows what I can do what I can put on this, other than this stupid tech lock crap, in order to hang it on my belt, let me know, because that ain't cutting it. That ain't cutting it. I do not like that. It digs in. Man, I'm scrawny. I'm scrawny. There ain't much to me. And that just digs in my back like you would not believe. Now, I've got it actually upside down. I'm pretty sure that's upside down. It doesn't dig into me as bad upside down. But if I put this up top, oh my God. You know, maybe it's just a poor sheath design, you know, with that particular latch, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I love the knife. I love the knife, and I love the sheath. I do not love how it fastens to the belt. Not at all. I've got just one more knife to show you. You know, there's a lot of people that really go to the extremes about knives, and they expect that you're going to be able to chop down a 3-foot diameter oak tree with their neck knife. And I think that's stupidity. While again, I will point out that even the $13 neck knife has a full tang, okay, and would work fine at processing, you know, small tender. This knife would also, its full tang, would also work just fine processing small tender. And so would the dinner skinner here, would work just fine. So would this, would work just fine. But none of those would be something that you would choose for chopping, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit. There are a lot of knife gurus, if you will, that get a little too excited about chopping down trees with a knife. Look, that's a lot of wasted effort. And I'm going to give you, you know, if I was somebody, I would put a small hatchet in their bug out bag. I need to get one myself, just a small hatchet, nothing big, a little more suitable for processing small wood. Now I'm not talking about tender, which you could use the neck knife for. I'm talking about bigger wood than that people would normally take something like this and baton with it, or try to chop with it, okay? First of all, don't waste your time and energy chopping. Get you a saw to put in your bug out bag. And I didn't get mine out, but I've got like it's called a Corona tooth or whatever. It's a lot cheaper than buying a Silky. Very, very good reviews. The saw works incredibly well. Everybody that I've talked to about those saws say they work incredibly well. And, you know, save yourself some money. I'll put the link to it down in the description of the video. This is an SCHF 43. This is this was a design from Prepared Mind 101, and it's an awesome piece of steel. It truly is. But if I had to, yeah, I would baton with it. I'd use it to chop and all that. But I would rather have a small hatchet and have a saw and use this for other things. I mean, there are uses for it, but you'd be much better off having the correct tools for the job. This particular knife here is actually an incredible knife for chopping, so I'm giving you a really bad example. But most of your knives, your larger knives or machetes, they don't have a hook like that you know, that your hand, it grabs onto the back of your hand so it don't fly out. They don't have those angles, you know. So, I mean, this is made to chop. So this is a really poor example for me to tell you don't use a large knife to chop. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you learned something. If you've got any questions, I'm not a knife expert or anything like that, but drop them below. I'll do my best to answer. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and shalom.